from the worst start of his major league career. At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the Miami Marlins. Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by New York's 529 College Savings Program. After a day for refreshing yesterday, the Mets are back at it tonight and hoping that their power bats come with them. The Mets have been slugging home runs here at Citi Field recently, and lots of different guys have had a part. 9 home runs in their last 4 games in their home ballpark, and they'll try and keep that rolling tonight. Mets will have the Dark Knight taking them out tonight, trying to hold down one of the best sluggers in the game. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling with you tonight as the Mets open a 3-game weekend series against the Miami Marlins. You know, coming into the season, the consensus was that the Mets and Marlins were on a pretty similar plane. They had done some things to get better. They were raising younger players up through their lineup. Well, the Mets are 6 games over 500. The Marlins are 12 games under, and virtually everything that can go wrong has for Miami.
Well, if you thought about it before the season started, you thought to yourself, boy, the moves the Marlins made have been unbelievable, but they've imploded. And now they've hired a manager who was their general manager, had no field manager experience, had never played as a player, and now he's on the dugout and hasn't worked so far. They do not have extra base hits. They don't hit the ball out of the park, and that's with the most feared slugger in baseball. And then when you look at their pitching has been really a big problem. Steve Cishek, who was their closer, really struggled, and their starting pitching has been hurt. And when they lost that young starting pitching, I think it really got them off to that hard start.
They should get their ace, Jose Fernandez, back around the All-Star break, but they've got to tread water till then. And the veteran Dan Herron has helped them do that. He's been their best starter. You
know, it's amazing. Dan Herron usually does the job wherever he goes. He's a guy that's going to give you 30 starts. He's going to give you 200 innings. And so far, he's been the guy that's been the go-to guy to give them a quality start every time out there.
So Herron will go for the Marlins tonight, and Matt Harvey will pitch for the Mets. Now, Harvey had gone at least 5 innings in every start in his career until last Saturday in Pittsburgh. He gave up 7 runs in 4 innings. There was talk about a dead arm after that. He comes back tonight trying to put all that behind him.
You know what's weird, Gary, is that people are just so shocked whenever he doesn't have one of those 7 or 8 innings, 10 strikeout performances. Remember, though, the 2 starts prior, he gave up no runs in 15 innings, and for lack of support had 2 no decisions. I'm sure rebounding by great pitchers is a common occurrence.
So Harvey against Herron tonight as the Mets and Marlins open their series. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by New York's 529 College Savings Program. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit geico.com for a free rate quote. By Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop for untouchable values at the touch of a button at mybobs.com. And by Budweiser, still brewed the hard way. This Bud's for you. It's the Mets and the Marlins. Hurry on down to Citi Field. Whoa! First pitch coming up soon. Savings Program. Kids age 7 to 12 can win a chance to announce 1/2 inning from the booth. Visit sny.tv/KidCaster for details on how to enter, now until June 7th. Get to Citi Field tomorrow when the Mets take on the Marlins at 4:10. The first 15,000 fans will receive a Mets beach towel courtesy of Pepsi. For tickets, visit Mets.com/beach towel. SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. Matt Harvey takes the mound, ready to put Pittsburgh in his rearview mirror. Harvey's first pitch is coming right up. Home best start ever, including 14-3 at home against the National League East. They've already swept a series from the Marlins at home. They've swept 2 series from the Phillies, and they hope to continue to dominate their division at Citi Field with the Marlins starting tonight. Matt Harvey taking the mound for his 10th start of the year. And here is the lineup he will face for the Marlins tonight, brought to you by Hyundai. D. Gordon continuing to lead the National League in batting. Giancarlo Stanton, 13 home runs, but hitting just .232. Christian Yelich has been hurt or struggled most of the early part of the season. So it's a Marlins offense that should be better than its 12th in the league run scored total.
Well, those are the Jeep numbers for Matt Harvey so far this year. We've talked a lot about his last start, which was probably his worst in the major leagues. But don't forget, prior to that, he had 2 starts, 15 innings pitched, no runs given up. Both were no decisions. Defense behind Harvey this evening, presented by Lexus. 5 outfield assists, 3 of them are by Curtis Granderson with Lagares and Kadire. Tejada gets the chance to play third base. If he plays well, I bet you he plays a lot. Flores, Murphy, and Duda, and Plawecki, the youngster, behind the plate.
Well, D. Gordon has cooled off a little bit since the Mets last saw him. He was hitting about .430 at that time, only .376 now. Leads the league in hitting, leads the league in hits, leads the league in stolen bases. He's been a steal so far.
Well, he has a chance. There was a Marlin who had a great average before the All-Star break. That was Luis Castillo, hit .369 one season. So trying to see if he can best that mark.
Harvey set to go, and his first pitch of the night coming, and fastball taken for a strike, and we're underway. 97 on Matt's first pitch. He went 4 innings in that last start in Pittsburgh, gave up 7 runs. Both of those numbers were unprecedented. And he quickly gets ahead on Gordon, 0-2.
Fastball up, slider out of the same spot.
And working quickly against Gordon to start the night. Strikes him out on 3 pitches, 98 upstairs. 1-2-3 for the first out of the night.
You know, when I would go to bed before I'd make a start, Gary, that's how my first start would be against the first hitter. 1, 2, 3, go sit down. It was only in my dreams, though. He does it in reality.
So that's a bit of a statement to start the night. Harvey gave up an opening hit to Josh Harrison in his last start Saturday, and things really didn't get better from there. Here's Martin Prado, hitting a .271 in his first year in Miami. Came over from the Yankees in an offseason trade. And he takes the fastball a little high out of the strike zone.
Harvey throwing hard early, though, 98 miles an hour.
And Prado fouls it off, and it's 1-1. Well, Ronnie, we heard during the week the term dead arm bandied around loosely like it had never been heard of before. But you've been there, and you've suffered through dead arm, as most pitchers have at some point. There's a 92-mile-an-hour slider from Harvey. What exactly are we talking about?
Well, I'll tell you exactly how it starts. Before a game, when you go out to warm up in the bullpen, you'll get loose, and you'll really start to pump it up, get that good sweat working for the game. And what will happen, oh boy, gets the high called slider. This could be a fun night for Mr. Harvey. I mean, that ball looks up, and I'm sure Prado thought it was up, but given the call by Mark Carlson, whoa, this looks like 1968 all over again with the high call. You go out in the bullpen. Well, let me talk about it later, because you can't talk about it when Stanton's up.
And Stanton goes after the 99-mile-an-hour fastball and fouls it back. 13 home runs, 3rd in the league. 42 runs batted in, 2nd in the league. But hitting just .232, on-base percentage low. 63 strikeouts, the most in the league. Stanton is on a pace for 213 strikeouts this year.
Does that catch Reynolds? No. It's a little south of Mark Reynolds.
23 is the record, but still, you expect more from Stanton. Tape measure home runs, though, have been there. And Harvey strikes out the side in the opening inning. 10 pitches, 9 strikes, overwhelming first inning for Matt Harvey. Mets come to bat with no score. time this season. Juan Magaris has been struggling, so Terry Collins moves him down to 7th in the order. But those guys in the middle, Duda, Murphy, and Kadire, they are getting hot and come off a terrific series against the Phillies, and Dan Herron charged with trying to set them down tonight.
This young man has had a nice career. 148 big league wins. You see his Toyota numbers, the best of all the Miami Marlins starters.
Curtis Granderson leads things off, 4 hits in his last 22 at bats, and Herron's first pitch is in for a strike. Granderson at 236 for the year. Tejada and Duda to follow in the opening inning. See a bit of a shift against Curtis, and the fastball misses high, 1-1. Herron is a guy who used to throw hard but no longer.
He was one of the most talented young pitchers when he first came up. Now a smoke and mirrors guy.
First came up with the Cardinals as a reliever, now with his 7th major league team. And there was some thought when he was first traded to the Marlins over the winter that he might opt to retire, because he'd been pitching in California, his native state, and there was a thought that he might not want to pitch anywhere else. Justin Moore makes the backhand stop, and Granderson is thrown out for the first out. But not only has Herron pitched, he has pitched very well for the Marlins, and he's been a godsend for a team that has had so much trouble keeping their other starters healthy.
Trouble, Gary, but one of their strengths has been their defense. Coors Light showing you their outfield defense, all 25 or younger, very talented. They haven't all got off to a quick start, though. Martin Prado, a pro's pro. Echeverria, as good at any shortstop defensively in baseball. Gordon and Bohr, who made that play. And JT Realmuto now has the everyday position behind the plate.
Moore took over from Michael Morse, who was struggling and then hurt a finger, and so Morse is on the disabled list. So Moore is now playing every day. So here's Tejada, 60th time in his career he's at second, but the first time this season, and he swings at the first one and grounds it to Prado, and quickly there are 2 out.
Well, like the Mets, Bartolo Colon, that's what Danny Herron wants to do. He wants to throw strikes. He wants in the first 3 pitches for you to put the ball in play. He knows he has a good defense, and if you're going to be aggressive, you can make some quick outs.
So now Duda, coming off one of the least heralded 2 home run performances I've seen in a long time, got overshadowed by his pitcher hitting one 430 feet in the same game, and he takes a strike. But Duda's credentials continue to be enhanced day by day. Think about potential all-stars at first base in the National League as Prado overlaps to the right side. I think you'd have to start with Adrian Gonzalez and Anthony Rizzo, and then Duda's right in that conversation.
Yes, he is. Absolutely. There's Murph, red hot on deck.
Lucas went 5 for 10 with 3 home runs in the series against the Phillies. And Herron backdoors that cutter for a strike, 1-2. Dan Herron, now 34 years old, came out of Pepperdine in 2001, drafted by the Cardinals in the 2nd round. And he ties up Duda with the cutter, but it misses, 2-2.
So that cutter inside, Gary, is to set up something soft away. He wants Duda to hit something soft on the ground into the shift. Beautiful crowd here.
Duda hits it dead central. Ozuna back, has room, and gets to it. Side retired. 400 feet from Duda, just a little bit shy. Mets are on 1-2-3. No score after 1. Fans will receive Mets sunglasses courtesy of Verizon. After the game, all kids 12 and under can run the bases in the Mr. Met Dash. For tickets, visit Mets.com/Family Sundays. Big Justin Bourne tomahawks one foul to start the second inning.
I saw that first inning. I'm swinging.
Bourne has taken over as the regular first baseman with the ineffectiveness and then injury to Michael Morrison. He's gotten off to a terrific start for his 57 at bats of the year. Harvey struck out the side in the first inning. Now facing Bourne to start the second. And he takes another big cut of the fastball, and it's 0-2. Well, it's almost as though Matt is trying to prove that whatever befell him last Saturday is very much a history lesson.
Yeah, he's throwing hard. He's pitching angry. Remember, not only factors in that he had a bad start, but he had two great starts before that when he got a no decision.
And Bourne cracks one to right. First fair ball off a Marlin bat, and Granderson is equal to it for the first out. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. And Cologne's at the top of the list, but two very hard throwers, second and third in highest percentage of strikes, in Scherzer and Harvey.
And Cueto in the top 5, so that's very impressive.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Marcell Ozuna, center fielder, hitting fifth. Ozuna's got good numbers against Harvey, 4 for 9. This is a team Matt's had some trouble with in his career. 5 career starts against the Marlins, 1-1 with an ERA over 4.
Well, I remember second baseman Donovan Solano took a bat of a lifetime against him in Miami for a game-winning hit.
By the way, when Harvey struck out the side in the first inning today, 9th time in his career he's done that in the first inning. Struck out the side 1-2-3. Gets ahead on Ozuna 1-2, and that's in 46 starts.
That is
9 out of 46.
Hard slider.
One-two coming. And he just got a piece of that fastball.
They've got some decent cuts at the fastball. So, Matt, if you start to read this, how do you fight yourself? Do you fight between, I want to blow these guys away, to they're a young team, they're going to swing the ball out of the strike zone, 1-2 count on this guy, throw it out of the strike zone.
Curveball struck him out. 5 batters, 4 strikeouts for Harvey, 2 out of the second.
You know, at times when he's got it all working, see that grip on that curveball straight over the top, 12-6. Nasty late break. I mean, this is the kind of pitching you see when you have the big kid that almost has a beard in Little League that strikes out 17.
Christian Yelich hitting 6th in the order. Yelich got off to a slow start, battled back problems, went on the disabled list, and really has not hit since he's come back. 18 games since coming off the DL. Yelich shooting just .215.
Care how good you are, the league will make an adjustment. It's then now on Yelich to make it. He will. That's how good of a player he is.
He blows one by him, and it's 1-2. Well, he was so good last year in his first full season in the big leagues. They had every right to believe Yelich would have a huge season.
Well, there's the pitch right out there. He would never swing out of the strike zone.
Nobody would swing at that.
I would have. I was swinging from here. A lot of shakes early for Matt with Milwaukee.
Strike 3 called. Yelich caught looking. Backdoor slider from Harvey. 5 strikeouts in the first 2 innings for Matt. He's cooking tonight. No messing around. No score in the second. for 6 or more teams. He's the other one. The other one started against the Mets for 7 different teams, and he's still active. Murphy grounds one down to third, and Martin Prado makes the play for the first out.
Is he? I think I know who it is. A local kid?
Yes. So here's Michael Kadire. Michael coming off a good series against the Phillies, 5 for 10 with a couple of homers, 5 RBIs, and the Mets hope that it's the start of something big for Kadire, who's been waiting for that kind of consistent performance.
Herron's working so quick they can't even get the play-up song for the player, which I love personally.
Kadire over toward right center. Deep in the gap is Stanton, but he won't get there, and it short hops the wall. Kadire accelerates into second and stands with a 1-out double. First base runner for either side.
Boy, Kadire is showing some pop. The ball is starting to jump off his bat. This pitch outside third and down, and be able to shoot that in the gap and split the outfielders is pretty impressive. Stanton is a very good outfielder in right field as that short hops the wall. Kadire's on time right now.
His 6th double of the year, and the Mets have a runner in scoring position with 1 out. And Wilmer Flores, who has 6 RBIs in the last 4 games, will try and tack on another. Ward made a little dash toward the bag, and so Kadire edging back as Flores takes a strike.
Remember, Danny Herron is a fantastic athlete, so he's one of those guys that has quick feet. So if they do put a play on at second, he's as good as there is in baseball.
Slap to the right side. Gordon makes the play on Flores as Kadire moves over to third. Now there are 2 out.
You know, Gary, when I played, I used to use a small glove because I liked, I was an infielder as a kid, but he has an opening in the webbing. And most pitchers want it closed in the webbing because you don't want the hitter to see if you have a changeup or a split finger grip, but that's what he prefers. Very unusual for a pitcher to have any kind of open in that mesh part of the pocket.
It's like it's almost been stretched open more than it originally was, too. Now Juan Lagares with a runner at third and 2 out. He takes a curveball off the plate.
I got a new glove in '85 prior to that season, and I ended in '95 my career with that glove.
Really?
Yeah, I never used it for anything else except just for the game. Now Harvey's got the style master. He's got the black with the blue stitching
and a closed web.
Yeah, I mean that's like the Bentley of gloves right there.
2-1 Lagares. Lagares dropped in the order down to 7 because of his recent struggles, but he's got good numbers against Herron. 5 for 12 against Herron. Mets are facing Herron for the first time this regular season, but they see him in spring training too, so there's a lot of familiarity. Just off the corner, and now it's 3-1. Herron, like Harvey, walks very few, just 11 walks in 57 innings this year.
Interesting to see what he'll do here. 3-1 count. Is he going to challenge Lagares? I don't think so. Slider.
Plawecki, the number 8 hitter, on deck. Cameraman watching a cameraman watching a cameraman. And so on and so on. Three-2. And he misses with a breaking ball. So Lagares draws a walk. And the Mets have runners at the corners for Plawecki. First walk for Herron.
Well, Real Muto, what they love about him is he hasn't hit too much, but his defensive skills for a young catcher are just impeccable. He comes forward, so that way he gets it on a short hop, and then he gets it right in the middle of his body, so he gets it right in his core and makes sure that it stays in front of him. It's just it's like controlling a rebound if you're a goalie.
So now Plawecki, who has done well with runners in scoring position, 218 overall, but 333 in RBI situations. And he takes a fastball for a strike.
So that was a clear case of Herron opting to make sure he played careful to Lagares to face the rookie.
Dyer at third, Lagares at first with 2 out. It's looking as though Plawecki is going to be holding down this catching spot for a little while longer. With the news today that Travis d'Arnaud has a bone bruise in his wrist. And so Plawecki grounds into a fielder's choice, and that ends the bottom of the second. Matt Harvey back to the mound with no score. Announce a half inning of a Mets game on SNY. Just go to sny.tv/kidcasters, submit an essay on the topic provided, and you'll be entered in the SNY Kidcaster contest presented by New York's 529 College Savings Program.
Didn't we have a half inning this year that was 32 minutes?
Yeah. Why do you ask?
I'm just asking. I'm just thinking.
Oh, you're saying if the Kidcaster...
Have we covered for the 32-minute inning?
We'll bring in the runner-up. JT Real Muto bounces one foul. By the way, you know, the 529 College Savings Program is a big deal. It's a great tax advantage program, saving for college, but it's never been more important than today. May 29th, 529.
That's right. There you go. Look at you.
Real Muto pops one up into shallow right. And Curtis Granderson ambles in to get it. 1 out. 7 up and 7 down for Matt Harvey to start his night.
Numerologist. Next time you'll be in the West Village with tarot cards, you Gary. The tarot card lady.
I see a tall, dark stranger. Speaking of tall, dark strangers, we should tell everybody that our buddy is home and doing okay.
He had the operation turned out to be a little more serious. It needed a little more done to his shoulder, so he's hurting and he's going to take a few days off. We'll see him when we come back from Arizona. It was supposed to only be like a labrum that he was supposed to have. So that's Keith so far.
Live via satellite.
This is Opinion. Oh no, this is more like a Chardonnay or Sauvignon Blanc. That's IV in there. But he was supposed to have this labrum done, but it ended up that they had to suture it, go in, and reattach the tendon. So it's I feel for you, buddy.
He looks awfully happy.
That is great. I love. Now it makes sense that he would have his GQ cover on his wall.
Of course. Oh boy.
We'll keep you updated, folks.
You know, before anybody had heard of Matt Harvey, Keith was that guy, right?
Yes, he was.
Echeverria retired 2 out. He was the man about town.
I don't know if he was night, but he was dark.
There you go.
But that's funny.
Anyway, Keith, we know you're in a little bit of discomfort, but we also know that you have the methodology of dealing with it.
Well, to me, the equivalent of GQ nowadays is to be on the Daily Show, and that's what Matt was yesterday.
That's right. I felt as though Jon Stewart was a little starstruck.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, he interviews everyone on the planet, including the president. But I think Matt at one point said, "You can come, maybe take some BP." He goes, "What? And live my dream?"
He's the hot on Herron 0-2. And the pitcher manages to foul off the curveball. Herron 2 for 16 at the plate this year. He's a good hitting pitcher. Lifetime 207.
I've been on that show. If you go on the show, you think it's going to be fun because John is so nice to you in the green room. And then you come in and the crowd is crazy.
Herron strikes out. Harvey perfect through 3. 6 strikeouts through the first 9 batters. Get well wishes. If that doesn't get you well, Keith, I don't know what will.
They did his leg too.
There's his chronology. Last year with the Dodgers, came over in the same trade with D. Gordon in the deal that sent Andrew Haney to the Dodgers.
He went to Athletics for Mark McGwire, right? Was included in that trade.
Well, Matt Harvey witnessed Noah Syndergaard's batting heroics on Wednesday afternoon. Matt, as a rookie, hit .333, but he has never hit that way since. He had 6 hits in 18 at bats as a rookie. He has 6 hits in 65 at bats since then.
Harvey, Herron's more his speed, a little better speed. You know, 85 to 87 miles an hour. He's not going to throw it by you. So.
Echeverria plays the hop. And Harvey is retired. The Syndergaard home run was something incredibly special. Not just the fact that he hit it, but how far he hit it.
I've honestly never seen a pitcher hit the ball that far, to tell you the truth. I've seen home runs by pitchers. I've hit a couple of home runs. But I've never seen a guy. Watch where this pitch is. It's not awful. I mean, it's kind of down. It's kind of away. And he goes with it and hits it 400, what, 30 feet, they said?
430. They said it was the longest since Carlos Zambrano hit one 431 a few years ago. Mr. Anderson. And he takes outside. Curtis grounded out his first time up. But, you know, Zambrano, like Syndergaard, big, strong man. He hit a lot of home runs in his career.
Yes, he did, but he played at Wrigley also. So, you know, getting the ball up can result in a home run. But I was shocked. Shocked he could hit the ball that far. But I shouldn't be. He's 6'6". He's 240 pounds. He's got a beautiful swing.
And he hit 2 other ropes in that game and went 3 for 3. Ruben Tejada on deck.
Aaron is the kind of guy, Gary, that pitches around his fastball. What's that mean? Kind of dipsy doodle, a little split finger, a little curveball, and it'll surprise you with the heater inside.
(3-2) to Curtis, and he takes strike 3 called on the inside corner. First strikeout of the night for Herron. 2 out in the 3rd.
What I love about his motions is a couple things. Watch his head. He looks towards third base and not the plate. So not even concentrating where the hitter is. The other thing that you see, a la Asian style pitchers, he has a real pause at the top of his delivery before he delivers the baseball.
Brad Penny used to do that.
Yes, he did.
At third base.
It's to keep the front shoulder closed. That's what they're trying to do.
Here's Ruben Tejada, who grounded out his first time up.
Tom Seaver used to believe in it also. If you remember him, folks, some of your older fans, he would not look at the hitter also. He believed that it's impossible to stare at the strike zone or where you want to throw it that long.
Shallow right center, and Ozuna camped under it. So it's a 1-2-3 inning for Herron in the bottom of the 3rd. Matt Harvey's been perfect so far. No score. Mets for 6 different teams. Marty said local kid. It is.
Nice.
Staten Island native Jason Marquis. Second time through the batting order for Matt Harvey. D. Gordon struck out on 3 pitches to start the game, and he swings at a curveball to start the 4th inning.
3 fastballs in his first at bat. So was he getting his second at bat? First pitch breaking ball.
Gordon, Prado, and Stanton to face Harvey, who struck out 6 first time through the order.
When you shake that many times, usually it's fastball in. It means he's given fastball, location, and they go around the whole circuit. Curveball, slider, change, no, 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 no. Means you want the fastball in almost every single time.
And Gordon lays down a perfect bunt. They'll never throw him out. And that's the first base runner of the night against Matt Harvey. You can't roll it out there any better than Gordon did. And that's the first base runner for Miami.
Here a lot of fans booing because they were anticipating a no-no tonight from Matt, but it not to be with a beautiful bunt a la Rod Carew. That's how good this bunt is. Disguises it, last minute drops the bat and drops the bunt down, and Tejada, who was playing in, still had no play on it.
Well, he could not have thrown him out had he fielded that perfectly. Well, that's how you hit 376. Gordon with his great speed, now a threat to go. Prado at the plate. And he takes a knee-high strike.
I mean, it's beautiful to watch. Picking him up and putting him down. I mean, that's as easy as it gets. Just floating those last 4 steps.
That's a pitcher's son.
Yeah, that's right.
His dad, Tom Flash Gordon, was a notable pitcher. Guy who started, relieved, had a great arm. Little guy who threw hard. He's been caught 7 times, which isn't great, but 19 steals leads the league.
He's got a big lead.
Not going. And Harvey just missed away. 1-1.
Harvey does a pretty good job of varying his times to the plate, the throw overs. He knows exactly what he's doing out there to hold the runners. Problem is, Gordon's just so fast. Plawecki will have to make a perfect throw to get him.
4 stolen bases against Harvey in 6 tries this year. Gordon gets a very huge jump, and there's no chance for Plawecki. I mean, he got a. They talk about a walking lead. He got a jumping lead.
His lead was so big, he was afraid that Harvey was going to come over. See the pitch. It's a good pitch to throw him, but it doesn't really matter for Plawecki. He had no chance. I'm sure Danny Barr is going to show us the jump here. Danny's directing tonight. Look at that jump. I mean, it was a shuffle and a go.
20th stolen base for Gordon, so he's in scoring position with nobody out, and Prado takes the pitch low, and now Harvey behind 3-1 with Stanton looming on deck. So an early crisis point for Matt Harvey in a scoreless game.
Well, they're holding the runner Gordon on with Flores. That opens that hole between Tejada and Flores for Prado.
First 3-ball count of the game for Harvey. And Prado takes in the dirt, ball 4, threw him a 3-1 curveball. So there's the first walk for Matt, and now he'll face Stanton with 2 men on.
It was an interesting choice, wasn't it? I mean, I think that somewhere down and away, Prado's going to give you a ground ball because he's trying to move the runner over. That's the kind of pro he is.
Well, I think Matt understands how he can get Stanton out. He's done very well against him in their head-to-head meetings.
The problem is the Stanton can be late on the fastball that he keeps missing, and he could hit it over the right field line.
Struck out on 3 pitches his first time up. 1 for 10 against Harvey in his career, and he takes a fastball for a strike.
The issue here is facing Stanton is a lot different when you're in this wind-up and letting it go. Now, not only do you have to worry about Stanton, but you have D. Gordon, who's threatening off second base to maybe try to steal third. Probably won't with Stanton up, but it's got to be in the back of your mind.
Now Murphy close to the bag, trying to keep him from getting too big of a lead. And Stanton lifts one to right. Gordon should be able to tag and go to third. Granderson's got it for the first out, and Gordon easily trots over to third base. And now the go-ahead run is at third with 1 out, and Justin Bour coming up. So a productive out for Stanton.
Well, Justin Bour showed you in his first time up, he wants to swing the bat. So what do you do if you're Matt? You want to keep something down in the way. That could be fastball, it could be slider, it could be changeup, whatever you want to do, but you have to do it on this first pitch because he wants to swing. And you could get out of this inning with a ground ball.
Or line one deep to right his first time up.
He's way ahead of that first pitch fastball in his first at bat. Let's see what they counter with. Little backdoor slider.
And Bour drives one deep right down the right field line, headed toward the pole. That ball is out of here. A 3-run homer for Justin Bour. Harvey didn't get that slider where he wanted it, and Bour hits his 4th home run of the year to put the Marlins in front 3-0. So Justin Bour has taken over as the Marlins first baseman, provides them with a big blow.
That's why you never know in this game. You get Stanton out with a pop-up and then first pitch swinging right down the middle. And that slider was flat also. And wrapped it around the foul pole.
So 3-0 Miami. Now Marcell Ozuna chases an up and away fastball.
I mean, barely stayed fair. You folks at home, if you see that ball the entire way, then you know it's foul. But if it disappears behind the pole, then you know that it went around it.
Ozuna struck out his first time up. And he gets jammed 1-2.
So, folks, when you see it, you're thinking, okay, foul, foul, foul. But then when it disappears, that means that it's gone around the pole, and now it's on the other side of the pole. And the fan has a home run souvenir.
So Harvey, who gave up 2 home runs in Pittsburgh in his last start, now has allowed 7 home runs this season. It's the first one he's ever given up against the Marlins in 6 career starts. Slowly hit for Tejada. Has to reach back for it. Throws out Ozuna for the second out.
A little funny bounce on Tejada there. Had some side spin on it. Caught it on his right hip.
By the way, that 3-run homer by Bohr, only the second one Matt Harvey has given up in his career. He's never given up a grand slam. The only other 3-run homer he had ever allowed was in 2013 against Cody Ross. And now Justin Bohr.
See, once this ball down and away, you're hoping that Bohr will swing over the top of it. But that ball kind of broke right across the middle of the plane. So it started right at the outside and moved right to the fat of the bat.
Now he's behind on Yelich 2-0. And that's up high 3-0. Well, Harvey went perfectly through the first 3 innings, but Gordon laid down a bunt hit, stole second. He walked Prado on a 3-1 curveball. He got Stanton out, but not Bohr. And now Yelich lines a base hit.
3-0 hitting.
So the 3rd hit of the inning against Harvey.
3-0 as a pitcher, you're going to groove one, and Yelich knew it. I'm honestly surprised more hitters don't swing 3-0. The problem is they feel like if they don't hit a home run 3-0, it's a bad thing. Just a base hit.
Especially when you've been struggling like Yelich. Yeah. Get yourself, I don't want to say a free hit, but
you're going to hit something hard.
Hit. Yeah. Right. So here's JT Realmuto, who flied out to right his first time up. Realmuto took over as the full-time #1 catcher for Miami when they let Jared Saltalamacchia go. Ironically enough, today Saltalamacchia was called up by the Diamondbacks because Tuffy Gozwich, their #1 catcher, might have a torn ACL. It looks like Saltalamacchia is going to be a #1 catcher again. 1-1 to Realmuto.
Funny how this game is, right? I mean, Matt Harvey, this is probably as good a stuff as he's had all year. And the Marlins have 3 points on the board. Happens.
Well, when you miss with your location that badly to a power hitter, you rarely get away with it.
But it's the first pitch. You know, there'll be another game. He'll throw that same pitch to Anthony Rizzo and he'll pop it up, and you'll say, "Boy, I got out of that inning." Well, sometimes your bad pitches, you're rewarded for them. Sometimes when you carry the kind of cachet that Matt Harvey does, the other team is going to be awake every day for your starts. There's going to be no half step in it.
1-2 coming, and Realmuto hits the comebacker. That ends the inning, but a damaging one for Matt Harvey. Justin Bohr hits his 4th home run of the year, a 3-run homer for Bohr, and a 3-0 lead for the Marlins as we go to the bottom of the 4th at Citi Field. Lucas Duda leads off the home fourth inning as the Mets try and climb back against Dan Herron. Duda fly deep to center his first time up. Duda, Murphy, and Kadire against Herron.
It's a lonely feeling. You know, you got good stuff. You got a couple guys on, and yeah, you get PO'd.
Duda cranks one to deep right field. Back goes Stanton. And that ball is out of here. Stanton deked everybody in the building. And Duda hits one into the second deck. Up in the Pepsi porch, his 9th home run of the year. And the Mets are on the board. It's now 3-1.
Well, that'll help how Matt Harvey feels right there. Duda, it almost seems like he's good for a home run a game. That's how hot he is right now.
That's 4 home runs in his last 4 games. 9 for the year, and he is just getting going. Now Murphy takes a changeup up.
Well, there used to be a time where outfielders wouldn't even look at the ball when it was hit that far. But what Stanton does is he looks straight up, like he's going to catch it. But the ball's 100 feet past him.
And that's where it went, into the Pepsi porch.
That's where Stanton usually hits him. He's used to it.
1-2 to Murphy, who started the night with a 7-game hitting streak, hitting .520 over the 7 games. Murphy has broken out big time after a dreadful month of April. May has been very kind to him. And he pops one up in it right. This one actually is playable for Stanton. No deke required, and that's the first out.
I think it was a hanging little cutter to do on the inside part of the plate, and just the beautiful swing. You know, it's not ironic, but you know, he tweaked that hamstring. It's almost like he's shortened his swing. He's made it more effortless, and he's getting to the baseball as well as I've ever seen him do it.
Now Kadire, who drove a double to right center his first time up. And he pulls one down to third. Prado's got it. And there are 2 out. So after the home run by Duda, Herron retires the next 2. And now we'll face Wilmer Flores with 2 out and nobody on.
Oh, nice shot off the glass. This is the time of the year when around this time outfielders have to be very wary of losing the baseball in the sky.
Flores broke his bat and grounded out the first time up. And Herron picks off the outside corner.
Herron, when he's good, he's like a dart thrower. With 3 pitches: fastball, split finger, and that little slider.
Rolled to the right side. Gordon a long way to get it. And throws out Flores by a step to end the inning. But the Mets get 1 back after Boer's 3-run homer at the top of the inning. It's the Mets' big first baseman responding up in the Pepsi porch. Number 9 for Duda. And it cuts the Marlin lead to 3-1 as we go to the 5th.
We talk about it all the time. He identifies the pitch as being inside. He pulls his hands by dropping that back elbow into his side, right against his ribs.
Danny Echeverria dumps one into center field, and the Marlins are off and running again here in the 5th.
So when you pull that hand into your ribs, you shorten up that stroke, and you're able to get the fat part of the bat to the ball. That's what the hitters are talking about when they say pulling your hands in on the inside pitch to make sure you get the fat part of the bat in the ball. Classic example, results in a home run.
Now Herron up there to bunt. 4 sacrifices this year to go with 2 hits. Stabs at it and fouls it back.
The bunting by the pitchers, what does Keith say? El Stinkowski has been awful for around the league. Around the league, it's been bad.
What do you think that is?
I don't know what it is. Maybe they're working too much on their hitting. Just stick your nose in there, put the bat out, and put the ball down. But he's a little fearful of the heart, but he gets it down.
Well, I was going to ask you, do you think as pitchers throw harder and harder, they concurrently get a little more timid facing their brethren when they're bunting?
You can't be timid in this game. I mean, come on. I don't care how hard a guy throws. I mean, I've tried to bunt against Nolan Ryan. You want to bring it on, big boy. Let's go. That's how you should be feeling.
Not classic bunting style by Herron, but he got the job done.
Well, the ball ran inside. It helped him. If it had stayed outside, he wouldn't have got to it.
So now Dee Gordon, who got the home mess started in the 4th inning with a bunt single. He stole second and scored on Moore's home run. Smacks that one foul. Gordon's bunt single was his 74th hit of the season. Today's game changer brought to you by T-Mobile, and he's got an enormous lead in the hit column. Oki's made a nice transition in San Francisco. Coming over from Kansas City.
Well, when D first came up, he was a shortstop in Los Angeles. And they didn't feel like he could play the position, and they didn't think he could hit at that position. Then they put him at second base last year. He had a good year. And I asked someone, I said, what do you think about the trade of D. Gordon to the Marlins? Do you think it's a good trade for the Marlins? He says, I'll tell you right now, I don't know if he'll ever learn how to hit. But he said, D. Gordon is one of the finest athletes I've ever seen wear the spikes. So if he ever learns how to hit in this game, he's going to be one of the better players in the game.
The one thing he's going to have to prove this year, because he had a great first half last year with LA, he's got to prove that he can stay strong for the full season.
He's a little man. You know, he's a thin man.
And he goes down on strikes. Harvey has his 7th of the night, and that's the 2nd out of the inning.
A fastball up and away has been this place that Harvey has been getting his strikeouts. That's not a good swing by Gordon, but he was just trying to foul it off, do anything he could. Harvey just too good.
So 2 out. Echeverria still at second. Now Martin Prado, who has struck out and walked. And takes the fastball away. Carlos Stanton would be next. Echeverria at second with 2 out. And Prado lines one over short. That's a base hit, and that'll bring in another run. Echeverria trots in to score. Martin Prado with an RBI single, and the Marlins now lead it 4-1.
Well, 2 out base hits are a thing of beauty for an offense. This ball's down, it's around ankle high, and he just golfs it over the shortstop's head. You know, I know in today's game there's a lot of folks that don't think there's clutch hitters. Prado's a clutch player.
21st run batted into the season, and now Stanton up with 2 out and a runner at first.
Well, Stanton in his first 2 at bats, it's really been hardball city from Harvey. That was the closest he was on to it. Harvey painted it in the corner and up and in. It tied him up and in. Second at bat, same thing. That slider away, but then fastball up, and he just pops it to right.
Got out ahead of that changeup, and now it's 0-2 to Stanton.
We have not seen the Mets pitchers against Stanton this year throw that big curveball that starts right at him and bends out over the plate. Try to get him to flinch.
Well, everybody wanted to know coming into the season whether there'd be any ill effects for Stanton after getting hit grotesquely in the face by Mike Fiers late last season. Why he wears that shield across his face. 0-2. Struck him out with a high fastball. 8 strikeouts for Harvey, but the Marlins tack on another run. Prada with a 2-out hit to bring home a run. Halfway through at Citi Field, 4-1 Miami. While Lagares leads off the home 5th inning, Mets down by 3. Lagares drew a walk his first time up. Lower third of the order, Lagares, Plawecki, and Harvey against Dan Herron in the 5th.
Slider away, fastball in, back and forth, up and down, slow and fast.
Poke to the right side. And Moore makes the flip to Herron. He has to put the tag on Lagares and gets him for the out.
I always tell you folks at home, if you're not fast and you're a little older and you can't beat a guy to a bag, it's very simply just turn and throw some leather in the baseline. It'll hit the guy as he goes across the bag. Boy, you almost missed him, by the way. He gets him right under the armpit. You know, he does everything to get over there in time, but he just can't run anymore. So, veteran move.
So 1 out and nobody on. Now Kevin Plawecki, who grounded into a fielder's choice his first time up. Well, Herron has struck out only 1 over 4 1/3 innings. Matt Harvey has struck out 8 over 5 innings. Herron has a 4-1 lead.
Does that compute with the baseball today? I mean,
well, they tell us that the pitcher has no impact once the ball leaves his hand. Once the ball's hit, right?
What he's doing is that he just is controlling the speed of the bat by the Mets. can't get that full swing at him, except for Duda.
2-2 to Plawecki. There's your JetBlue fifth inning recap. Justin Bour's 3-run homer, the shocking blow in this game. Matt Harvey has been cuffed around a little bit. And foul tip held by Real Muto, and Plawecki's retired. That's the second strikeout for Herron.
It's a little slide ball in the outside corner. Down.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Matt Harvey grounded to short his first time up. So you got beat up in your last start in a way that you've never been beat up before. You come out today, guns blazing, looked fantastic early, and you've given up 4 runs in 5 innings.
Got out Drew. I mean,
so
a guy that you probably know least amount about, Justin Bour. Mike, Moore should be over there, and he gets you after you just got Stanton to pop up.
So Harvey will go back to the mound, trailing 4-1. Not a place he's used to being. We go to the 6th inning. There's your line score. Justin Bour, who has the big blow in this game, leads off against Matt Harvey in the 6th. It's been something every start with Strasburg this year, hasn't it?
It really has.
This one in the air to left center. And Lagares taking charge. And Bour retired, one away. Monday, get a recap of this weekend's Mets-Marlins series, plus a preview of Monday night's opener against the Padres at Petco Park on Daily News Live, presented by Citi, Monday at 5, only on SNY. Well, the Nationals also got another blow. Jason Worth's going to be out till August now with a wrist injury. He's got a couple of fractures in that wrist.
And Tanner Roark has come out of the bullpen to fill in for Fister, so they're going to have to find someone else to fill in for Strasburg.
Harvey facing Marcell Ozuna, who's 0 for 2. The other team that got a cruel blow over the last couple of days, the Cardinals. Matt Adams, complete tear of the quad. He's going to be out for the year.
Trying to beat out a double. Huge loss for that team. Mark Reynolds will get a lot of that playing time unless they try to make a move.
in the air to left. Starting back at Dyer now comes in. 2 out.
But you always figure like the Cardinals are just going to not miss a stride. You know, they always seem to do that.
Well, they lost Wainwright. Haven't missed a beat yet. So Harvey's retired the first 2 here in the 6th on fly balls. Now Christian Yelich, who has struck out and single to center, 1 for 2. I was trying to ask you before about Harvey, and when you're not used to losing and you're not used to giving up 4, 6, 7 runs a game, how do you respond?
Well, there's been a few things I haven't answered from the dead arm to this. You know, I don't care how good you are, you start to not lose your confidence, because there's no one more confident than Matt Harvey, but you start to question some of the things you're doing out there as he brushes Yelich back. The talk of the dead arm, that's simply a silliness watching the game tonight. He's throwing the ball 98. I'd say his breaking pitches have not been precise, though. There's another ball in the middle of the plate. That's the one that Bohr hit out. And I have not seen the changeup, and that's been a very important pitch early in the year and in spring training. That's a pitch he's chucked tonight so far.
Strikes out Yelich with a high fastball. That's 9 strikeouts now for Harvey through 6 innings. Now he can use some runs. That's come up in the bottom of the 6th, down 4-1. Third time around the batting order for the Mets against Dan Herron, who gets ahead of Curtis Granderson. Granderson has grounded out and struck out 0 for 2. Granderson, Tejada, and Duda. Mets have managed only 2 hits against Herron. And he gets it on the inside corner to get ahead 0-2. And Herron has been ahead all night.
I don't think I've seen him pitch better than this in quite some time.
Duda on deck, or 2 batters away anyway. 1-2 to Granderson. Curtis in a 4 for 24 hole right now. And that's a little bit low, 2-2. Matt Harvey, 4 runs allowed in back-to-back starts for the first time in his career. Granderson hits one deep to right field. Back goes Stanton to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here. Curtis Granderson with his 6th home run of the season. The Mets have gone deep twice. And now it's 4-2 Miami.
I don't know if that was a changeup or Herring took a little bit off a fastball, but Granderson was out front. But boy, you got the big part of the bat on the ball. Oh, that's a little backdoor slider that comes right down the middle. Good hitting by Curtis. Long home run to right center field.
The Mets have now hit 11 home runs in their last 5 Citi Field games, and Tejada follows with a base hit in front of Duda. And that'll get Lucas to the plate as the tying run.
Well, it's a pitch that you see a lot of left-handed hitters kind of hit the ball on the ground. But see the body of Granderson? Watch how low he gets with his body to go down and get that. And when you're a veteran, you know exactly when they hit him and where they're at.
So Granderson goes deep. Tejada follows with a base hit. Rubin's base hit snaps an 0 for 33 streak for Mets third baseman, which was the longest 0 for the Mets third baseman ever.
It's like vintage 1962.
Yeah. Well, here's Duda, who hit one of the Pepsi porches last time up, tying run at the plate. And he takes a curveball down for ball 1.
See the location, but watch Curtis's body. It's down low. It's not a horrible pitch, it's middle, but he gets that body so low that he's able to still generate some power.
Another curveball. This one in for a strike, 1-1. Duda hit one deep to center field his first time up that Ozuna caught on the warning track. And then parked one up in the Pepsi porch his second time up. So he has made solid contact against Herring tonight. Mets have hit 2 home runs tonight. That means $4,000 for an NYC community partner, courtesy of Citi. Duda's hit 6 home runs in his last 7 games. It's in for a strike, and it's 2-2.
Ball just down enough. Breaking ball behind in the count. Down enough. That's the pitch really that Granderson hit for a home run. 2 different hitters though. Granderson loves that ball down. Lucas likes the ball up a little higher.
2-2, and he gets him with a breaking ball. So Herring has his 4th strikeout, and that's the first out of the inning.
Well, that was a clinic on how to pitch Lucas. He had really that 1-2-1 pitch to swing at that he took. Once he got ahead, bounces to curveball.
So 1 out and 1 on, and now Daniel Murphy, who's been held in check so far tonight, grounded out and flied out, 0 for 2. And Murph takes a fastball for a strike. Dan Herring grew up in California, but he's got New York roots. His dad grew up in Washington Heights, still has family in New Jersey, and his sister went to Columbia, which gives me ample opportunity now to crow about the Lions, who today won their first NCAA tournament game of the season. Double play ball, Gordon with the flip, and the turn by Echeverria for the 4-6-3 double play. The home run by Granderson gets the Mets a little closer. Harvey will go back to the mound for the 7th, trailing 4-2. Dark Knight has been less than invincible for the second straight start. 7th inning, JT Realmuto leads off against Matt Harvey. Grounds one foul. Realmuto's fly to right and hit a comeback of 0 for 2. I didn't get to crow enough.
Oh, I thought you crowed plenty.
No,
I'm only kidding. Go ahead.
No, I was going to tell you. Columbia
Okay.
6, East Carolina 3 this afternoon. Only the second NCAA tournament game the Lions have ever won.
That's fantastic. It's a very difficult thing to an Ivy League team to play even in that regional that could get you to the College World Series. I've been waiting forever for an Ivy League school to get into the College World Series. Just hasn't been.
Well, let's see if they can. They'll probably have to play Miami tomorrow night. It might be a little tougher in Miami. Realmuto pulls one foul.
Well, you know what's great is usually these regionals. I remember when the Yale baseball team was in the regionals, and if they had won, Maine ended up winning and going to the College World Series. That we still had a lot of guys on our teams that were pre-med. They're taking orals. They're taking their exercise during that regional playoff. But I think it's late enough now that a lot of these young men are probably do not have any work to do except concentrate on baseball. That's fun.
Realmuto bounces one down to Tejada, gives some ground, and uses that strong arm to get him one away. So 1 out and nobody out. Let's check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Gary, the last time the Marlins were up, Christian Yelich made the final out. And before the game today, Yelich had some interesting things to say about the whole Dan Jennings situation in Miami. Obviously, one of Jennings' major challenges is going to be to win over this clubhouse in Miami. And while there's still questions whether or not he's been able to do that, what Yelich did say is that the guys respected the way he approached the team when he initially took over as manager. He didn't come into a team meeting and say, hey, listen, I don't care if you like it. I'm the manager now. You're going to respect me. He simply asked them to give him a chance. He said, you don't know how this is going to work. I don't know this is how this is going to work. Just give me a chance to prove that it can work. Yelich said the guys are trying to do just that.
Well, there's been so much conversation about Dan Jennings coming down from the front office to take over the managerial reins, and Marlins have certainly made enough managerial changes over Jeffrey Loria's ownership tenure. Since they won the World Series in 2003, they've changed managers like Sox. But this is fairly unprecedented. General managers have come down from the front office before, but what makes the Dan Jennings move different is that not only had he not managed on any level, he never played professionally either, which is a real double whammy for a guy trying to earn the respect of his players.
Well, I'll tell you, just from a person that's been in a clubhouse before and that's had change of managers. I remember Buddy Harrelson took over for Davey and ended up finishing 26 games over 500 during his tenure. But what happens is that for the players, it's the players and the coaching staff, and not the evil guys, but the guys that are in the front office and the players, they don't really mix.
Echeverria strikes out. That's 10 tonight for Harvey, a new season high.
And what I'm saying is that's your employer, that's your boss. That anyone who has any kind of job, the boss is the boss, and the player is the player. So you don't really mix with that person. And then all of a sudden, now he's in your locker room. And the problem for most players is that where does the conversation and connection stop and start? You know, if you're my manager and I'm going to talk to you and we talk about something very serious, does it stop with you, or does everyone else know it after a while?
Aaron shoots one past Duda, and he's got himself a base hit. Get number 6 off Harvey. I understand what you're saying, Ronnie, but I guess the caveat now is that the dynamic over the last couple of decades has changed, right? Well,
I said before that they shouldn't be called field managers. They should be called middle managers, because that's kind of how the job has gone. So, there's a lot of answering to the folks upstairs. Totally understand that. The game has changed that way, and that's fine and dandy. The problem I do find, though, the clubhouse is such a sacred place that's probably why Jennings had that conversation with Mr. Yelich.
Harvey gets through the top of the 7th unscathed. Now the Mets come to bat in the bottom of the 7th, still trailing 4-2. City is calling up a local restaurant to be featured at Citi Field this season. Vote for a favorite now at Mets.com/CityCallups. And by State Farm. Today's State Farm agent of the game is John Garfinkel of Brooklyn. Contact John at johngarfinkel.com. Here's your People's United Bank starters tonight. Matt Harvey, a season-high 10 strikeouts, but gave up a 3-run homer to Justin Bour and is behind in this game 4-2 as we go to the bottom of the 7th.
Dan Warthen's on the phone. That's probably it for Mr. Harvey. And I told you between innings, it's like the tortoise and the hare race.
Well, right now, the tortoise is in front. Michael Kadire leads off in the home 7th and takes below the knees from Dan Herron. Well, Harvey's thrown 95 pitches through 7. He's the 5th batter due in the inning. He did not see whether he got the handshake when he came in. So perhaps he has a chance to go back out there for the 8th. We'll see.
Well, look at it this way. The Mets are down a couple of runs. If the Mets score a couple of runs, get one on, get another on, then maybe he could come up and bunt and pitch you another inning. But a lot has to fall right for him to stay in this game.
Kadire drove a double to right center back in the 2nd inning. He's also grounded out 1 for 2. That's only scoring in this game has come on a pair of solo home runs. Duda leading off the 4th, Granderson leading off the 6th, and that's all Dan Herron has allowed. 2 runs, 4 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts for the veteran right-hander. And that's just outside to Kadire, 3-2. Flores on deck, Lagares to follow. The Marlins bullpen starts to crank, even with Herron only at 75 pitches for the night.
3-2 slider after 2 fastballs. Change up.
Gordon picks it, and Kadire retired 1 away. Sitting probables for the remainder of the series. John Neese against the local kid Tom Kohler tomorrow, 4 o'clock start. Bartolo Colon, David Phelps, Sunday, 1 o'clock start. Carter Capps is up in the bullpen for Miami.
Hard throwing right-hander.
Part of the reason, perhaps, why they've got the bullpen going, even with Herron at a low pitch count, is that he threw 115 pitches in his last start.
Well, the one thing I've seen from Herron the last 3 or 4 years, Gary, is that when he loses it, it goes quick. So make sure you have someone ready to go. And what a great combination. Capps throws 100 miles an hour.
They're the win leaders in Major League Baseball over the last 10 years. Herron, who's won double digits 10 years in a row in that top 5. Presented by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Enter promo code NYM for free entry. Flores tries to hold. It's a strike anyway. 1-2. Wilmer's been up twice, grounded out to second base both times. Well, in a Marlins starting rotation, as you look at Robles and Alex Torres up in the Mets bullpen. In a Marlins starting rotation that has been decimated now by injury. Of course, they knew Jose Fernandez was going to miss the first half of the year, but Henderson Alvarez has now been on the disabled list twice. Matt Latos' knee has gone bad. Jared Cozart has vertigo.
Yeah.
Herron has been an absolute godsend for them.
And like you mentioned before, he wasn't even sure if he wanted to come here. When he first was mentioned in the trade to Miami, his first thought was to retire. His second thought was to ask the Marlins to trade him to a California team. His third thought is, wait a minute, how much am I making? $10 million.
Nobody walks away from that.
Find a condo in South Beach, please.
2-2 to Flores. In Philadelphia tonight, Chad Bettis of the Colorado Rockies, and you're entitled to say who, has no-hit the Phillies for the first 6 innings. Poked into right field, falling fast. On comes Stanton to make the sliding catch. Boy, he came out of nowhere to make that play.
You know, we don't talk enough about his defense. When he first came up, we really thought he was going to be all hit and no field. And he has made himself, through hard work, into an outstanding right fielder. We know about his great arm, but his range, I mean, this is a 6'6", 240-pound man flying out there like Dave Winfield.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Juan Lagares is 0 for 1 on a walk. Lagares 1 for 14 on this homestand.
I'm sure I'll see it somewhere tomorrow. I'm going to try to see how many pitches that Herron threw knees or lower today. I mean, every ball has been down or seems to be down.
By the way, in that game in Philadelphia, Troy Tulowitzki, 2 home runs. That doubles his season total. Lagares chasing 1-2.
Got off to a horrible start for him.
But his on-base percentage is about 280. It has not been a good year for Tulowitzki.
Just the opposite of last year. Last year he got off to a quick start.
One-two coming. And the curveball misses. 2-2 to Lagares. Plawecki would be next. And the Mets had a good hitting week against the Phillies. Scored 18 runs in the 3 games.
We're lucky enough to miss Hamilton and Harang.
But the offense lacking tonight as Bohr catches the foul pop-up from Lagares, and Herron has himself a 1-2-3 inning, thanks in part to the glove of Giancarlo Stanton. We head for the 8th at Citi Field. Marlins 4, Mets 2. Every weekday, 5:30, right here on SNY. Martin Prado leads off the 8th inning against Matt Harvey. 95 pitches deep in his night. Prado drove in the 4th Miami run with a base hit with 2 out in the 5th. Since then, Matt's only given up 1 more base runner, but it's been a frustrating night for him. A night that began 9 up, 9 down with 6 strikeouts, but it did not progress that way. Duda over near the railing, and just enough room to pick it off the camera top. Nicely done by Duda for the first down.
We saw one a couple of days ago that was an excellent catch by Lucas. He's gotten much more comfortable. See, looking down, finding where he's got to go, get to the rail, and then pick up the baseball. That's what you do. Much better. Or I shouldn't say much better. Much more comfortable.
Well, it's the confidence of knowing how much room you have, getting there quickly, and then making the adjustments. Right?
Yeah, that once you see it's way up there, you spot it and you say, okay, I know where the arc's going to go. Now let me get to the railing and pick it up again. And there it is. Oh, I have a shot. Pretty impeccable, Mr. Duda, right now. Fun to watch.
Harvey's held Stanton in check so far. 2 strikeouts and a pop-up to right. But now he's behind him 3-0 with Justin Bour waiting on deck. His bullpen is ready to go if Harvey needs help. He's at 100 pitches for the night. And in his career, over 100 pitches, Pilecki bears the brunt of that foul ball. Harvey has tended to struggle when he gets past the 100-pitch plateau.
Guys hit over 400 off him, right? This one right off the toe. Down and in.
Swinging 3-0, so the Marlins have been turned loose all night.
Stanton's trying to hit a 500-footer.
Full count. Harvey has struck out 10, a season high. And Stanton is number 11. Third time he's gotten Stanton tonight. 2 out in the 8th.
All on fastballs up. Stanton just cannot lay off that pitch off Harvey. Same as Bryce Harper with the Washington Nationals. Pitch up, they can't lay off. I think that face guard of Stanton's is going to end up being, because it's so good looking, I think, on the helmet, it's going to end up, a lot of players are going to wear it in the future.
Really?
Yeah.
Like a fashion statement.
Yes.
Well, here's Justin Bour, who shocked Harvey in the 4th inning.
Well, that's the difference in the game. You got jumps. Jump for a 3-run homer. And you show me a pitcher who's given up a 3-run homer, very rarely have a good game.
The second 3-run homer Matt Harvey had allowed in his career. And it was Bour who only recently has inherited the job at first base and really has run with it. His 4th home run. Skies this one to shallow left. Flores goes out to call. Kadire calls him off. Side retired. So Harvey works a 1-2-3 top of the 8th. The catch counts, by the way. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Mets have 8, 9, and 1 of the order coming up, trailing 4-2. Phillies finally got their first base runner in the 7th on an error, but Bettis with that no-hit bid intact as they play in the 8th. Here's your Mets box score presented by Heineken. Solo home runs by Duda and Granderson. That's been the sum total of the Mets offense tonight. Dan Herron now out after 7 innings. And Sam Dyson will come on in his stead.
Well, he had a scoreless streak early in May, but he's coming off an awful appearance against the Pittsburgh Pirates when he did not retire batter. On a couple of hits, gave up 3 runs.
Dyson out of the University of South Carolina has walked too many, 11 walks in 23 2/3. Kevin Plawecki leads off. Daryl Siciliani on deck to bat for Harvey as the Mets try and rally in the bottom of the 8th. Plawecki is 0 for 2 tonight. And he swings at the first pitch fastball and fouls it off.
This guy Dyson just throws fastball after fastball. He's the Dale Thayer of the Marlins.
But he throws harder. And he doesn't have the mustache. Carlos Torres up in the Mets bullpen. Thayer's still in San Diego?
I think so.
Let's see him next week.
Really found a home.
Ball and a strike to Plawecki. Coming up tonight, Geico Sports Night. Is there a game 7 tonight?
Yeah, I think there is, Gary.
Dog's out on the keyboard. Try and find the hidden message in there. Maybe you could play it backwards. Bounce down to third. And Prado with the easy toss to get Plawecki one away.
You know, one thing lost in this game, folks, is if you're watching close, how good the defense, especially infield defense of the Marlins is. Very strong, great arms, and they cover a lot of ground.
So here's Daryl Siciliani to pinch hit. Siciliani grounded out as a pinch hitter on Wednesday against the Phillies. Trying to get aboard for Granderson, who homered his last time up. It's down by 2 in the 8th. And Siciliani takes a strike. Old foul, and it's 0-2. Was that the call to the post?
Where's the bugle?
I think they played it, but they didn't let us hear.
Well, that's just not fair. One of the highlights of the night, to tell you the truth.
Well, Dyson has come in throwing strikes. He's ahead on Siciliani, 0-2. Dan Herron went 7 innings. Allowed 2 runs, 4 hits, a walk, 4 strikeouts, and the 2 solo home runs. Mike Dunn, the lone lefty in the Marlins bullpen, is up. And that just missed at 95, 2-2. The Marlins have been hard pressed to win baseball games the last 3 weeks. They've lost 14 of their last 17. They've let some get away late. That's low, and Siciliani works it full. Marlins deposed their closer Steve Cishek. A.J. Ramos has taken over as closer. He's done better since he got the job than Cishek had. 3-2 coming, and Siciliani down on the high fastball. Dyson with his first strikeout, and they're 2 out. Well, the Mets have been beating up on the Phillies and Marlins so far this year. 5-2 against Miami, 7-1 against Philadelphia, and that's part of the reason why those 2 teams are buried so deep in the bottom of the National League East. Now it's Granderson, who homered his last time up, his 6th of the year. Curtis 1 for 3 on the night. And Dyson misses up and away. Ruben Tejada would be next, and Duda behind him.
got a lot of movement on that fastball. I was telling you in between innings, Jerry, this kid loves to throw his fastball. Great sinking action on it.
Granderson hits this one out to right, and Stanton over to get it. So Dyson vacuums up the Mets in the bottom of the 8th. On to the 9th we go. Marlins 4, Mets 2. Torres will take over the pitching for the Mets in the top of the 9th.
That's Carlos's numbers for the year.
Marcell Ozuna fouls off his first pitch.
Hasn't found that magic that he had last season. Trying to find it. You know, the numbers are not awful, but he was just so good last year that the pitching has been starkly different than it was last year.
Gave up a run-scoring hit to Maikel Franco in his last start on Tuesday night. This one's right at Murphy, positioned perfectly against Ozuna, and that's the first out. So Matt Harvey went 8 innings, allowed 4 runs and 6 hits, 1 walk, 11 strikeouts. The 1 home run, which has the Marlins in front of this game, the 3-run shot by Justin Moore. Matt threw 105 pitches, and all in all, he looked great, but he still gave up 4 runs.
He got jumped. He got jumped for a 3-run home run. I mean, it just, you know, you got to be happy with the way he threw the baseball. Just made one mistake, and sometimes one mistake can cost you.
Yelich is 1 for 3 tonight, just not looking like the Christian Yelich we saw last year.
Just looks like he has a slow bat. He's swinging at pitches out of the zone, which he would never do.
Well, he had that terrible series against the Mets down in Miami, and they put him on the disabled list right after that because he had the bad back. But has not really rebounded since returning. Curveball misses 1 and 2.
You know, he led off almost all of last year. He stuck down in the lineup because of his inability to hit. All those mind games that young players go through.
Duda ranging wide makes the flip for the second out. The best news on Christian Yelich is 23.
Yeah, no, he's going to be one of the stars of this game. He'll figure it out. I just think this year he tried to play through an injury, and they developed some bad habits.
So 2 out and nobody on that. JT Realmuto.
Torres, he was doing the guy on third play without anyone out there.
Got the yips.
No, I just he's had a lot of runners this year, so
that's
maybe
what I mean.
yeah. Just the baseball equivalent of PTSD or.
Exactly. 1-1 to Realmuto. Looking ahead to the bottom of the ninth, the Mets will have Tejada, Duda, and Murphy coming up. So, bloop and a blast is what you're looking for. AJ Ramos getting ready in the bullpen. 1-2 to Realmuto, so Torres looking a little crisper.
This is vintage 2014 Torres so far.
Struck him out. That's a terrific inning for Carlos Torres. Gets him out 1-2-3. Tejada, Duda, and Murphy coming up in the bottom of the ninth. That's down by a deuce. Dealers, visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. Our next SNY telecast will be the start of the Mets road trip in San Diego on Monday night. Our coverage begins 9 o'clock. Mets and Padres Monday night on SNY. We'll be on Pix 11 the next 2 days. 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, 1 o'clock Sunday. AJ Ramos on to try and save it for Miami.
Well, you mentioned earlier that he took over for Steve Cishek when he lost his job. Ramos, we've always been impressed with his stuff for the Marlins from day one. And you can see 9 hits and 23 innings pitched. He will give up some walks, but he has 4 pitches he can throw for strikes.
This year his whip is below 0.7, which is just off the charts.
I shouldn't say 4 pitches he can throw for strike. 4 outstanding pitches.
Loves his changeup. Starts off Tejada with a fastball away. Ruben is 1 for 3 tonight on a base hit to left field his last time up. Ramos trying to save it for Dan Herron, who went 7 very good innings. Sam Dyson a 1-2-3-8. And Tejada fouls it off 1-1. Lucas Duda on deck. So this is an enormous batter for Ramos to start the inning.
Tejada's got to get on somehow, some way. There's a rally cap. Big fan of the rally cap. Love it.
Breaking ball, fouled away. Duda's already hit one tonight. Murphy had a huge home run against the Marlins in the 9th inning in Miami. That turned the game around. One-two. Lays off. 2-2.
Well, in his young career, Harvey has picked up the Mets too many times to mention. He'd like the favor back, or one of the favors back right here.
Two from Ramos. And Tejada hits it back up the middle, a base hit. And that gets the Mets started in the bottom of the 9th. Second hit of the night for Ruben Tejada.
Before the game today, Terry Collins was asked why was Tejada hitting in the second hole and playing third base. He said, you know what? We've carted out guy after guy after guy in that position. I know he's going to catch the ball. This is his chance to play every day. Good start with a couple of hits today, hitting that good breaking ball.
So now Duda comes to the plate as the tying run. He's hit 6 home runs in his last 7 games. He's never had much luck against Ramos, though. 0 for 7 in his career. Backhanded by Real Muto, ball 1.
Ramos looks a little more jitterish in this 9th inning slot than when we've seen him in the past. Working very quickly.
Duda takes a fastball for a strike, 1-1. Daniel Murphy waiting on deck.
There's no need to move that shift. Duda has got one thing on his brain.
Skips away, and the throw to second by Real Muto, and Tejada just gets in. Wow. Nobody was covering third, and so D. Gordon races across the diamond to cover. It looked for a moment as though Real Muto was going to throw Tejada out. But on that short, wild pitch, he gets his hand in there. And now the Marlins will have to decide whether to challenge.
Well, he backhanded, got lucky, came right back to him and threw a strike, but it bounced once. Did he get his glove there in time? Boy, that's going to be a close call. Because watch Tejada goes with his left hand, takes it away, and then sticks his right hand in there. He's called safe. Is that enough to change the call? I say no.
Probably need another angle. Maybe this will show us more definitively.
Wow.
That's tough. And the Marlins are not going to challenge. So they didn't see enough evidence.
Oh, come on. You've got to challenge that.
So that takes the force away. The run means nothing. It's just takes the double play out of order. It's a wild pitch charge to Ramos. 2-1 the count to Duda. Still the tying run at the plate. And he goes after the changeup, 2-2. That is the pitch Ramos likes to get you out with.
I don't care what the guy who's been playing with the video all game, 9 innings, I don't care what he said. You got to run out there and challenge that play. Hope you get a call.
Two coming. And Duda half swing. Did he go? He did. Strike 3. And that's the first out in the bottom of the 9th.
Good pitching there by Ramos. That's 2 breaking balls that have eluded Duda in his last 2 times up. One by Herron and this one in the dirt by Ramos. You know what I'm saying? You can't let Vance video make the call. I mean, be the bench in the ball game. It's time to make the change.
It does no good to end the game with a challenge in your pocket.
Whoa.
Murphy is 0 for 3 today after crushing it the last 3 weeks. Bloops that one behind shortstop. On comes Echeverria. It lands between Yelich and Echeverria. They collide. Tejada coming home. He's going to score. Murphy slides in safely at second. It's 4-3. Yelich was charging, Echeverria retreating, and it fell between them as they came together.
Well, that's one of those calls that almost looked like the knee of Yelich got Echeverria. Couldn't have dropped it in there any perfect. You have two outstanding defensive players that collide, and the ball was just dropped in there perfectly by Murphy. They're both up and ready to play. Game was for the Marlins.
It's a bloop double for Murphy, and the Mets now at the tying run in scoring position with one out.
Tejada, let's see his read. He waits for it. He knows he's not going to go back. Nice base running by Ruben. Outstanding.
And picked up his third base coach. Tim Tuffle could see that the fielders were not going to get up quickly.
And if Murphy disappointed at first, but you have to eyeball it. Once you see it drop, you understand the situation, you get to second base.
So now it's Michael Kadire with the tying run at second and one out. Kadire's 1 for 3 tonight. He doubled back in the second inning. 4-3 Miami, ninth inning. And it's on the corner. Almost gets the call, 0-1.
The interesting part, Gary, about the ebbs and flows of baseball is that when you're a hot team, you look around at the bench and you all feel that at any time someone's going to come up with a big play, pitch, or hit. When you're a team that's been scuffling, you have this thought that goes over you, what's going to go wrong today? And that's where the Marlins are right now.
Ball on the strike to Kadire. Wilmer Flores waiting on deck. Ruben Tejada got it started with a base hit. Just snuck his hand in to beat the throw at second on the wild pitch and scores on Murphy's double. Now the Mets a base hit away from tying the game. And it's taken low by Kadire. No guarantee, though, that Murphy scores on a base hit because you've got some arms in that outfield.
I mean, the best from right to left. You've got Stanton, best arm in the game. Yelich, good arm. Ozuna, the Mets know how good his arm is.
Good breaking ball by Ramos, 2-2. Yeah, Ozuna beat the Mets with a couple of throws home last year.
Yeah, he threw out right and Newhouse, yes,
from left field. Familia getting ready in case there's a 10th inning. Now it's 2-2 to Kadire with Flores on deck. And he just got a piece of that one, lunging to get it.
Nice at bat for Kadire. The ball's a foot outside, still gets the bat on it.
Murphy at second, one out. And Kadire goes down swinging on the changeup, and that's the second out of the inning. So Ramos with a pair of strikeouts, and now the Mets are down to their final out.
It's a good pitch by Ramos. There's an Achilles heel for Kadire. It's certainly the ball down. He likes the ball upstairs, and that ball broke late. Well, Flores has had quite a week. And he can keep it up.
Already has a walk-off hit on this homestand against the Phillies in the 10th inning Tuesday night.
And that's after tying the game with a sacrifice fly.
Ramos trying to secure his third save, but he's got to get through Flores. Tying run at second, 2 out. And Wilmer hits a number off the end of the bat, and he kicks foul.
Flores and the pitcher almost ran into each other.
Flores, Ramos, the ball, and Ramos all arriving in the same place at the same time.
Ramos stopped. That's why he skidded there.
He could have turned his ankle on that play.
That ball just missed hitting Flores in fair territory. Whoa.
That would have been a heck of a way for the game to end. Wilmer going after a first pitch breaking ball and just cueing it off the end of the bat. And he nubs another one. Bohr's going to field it, and that does it. The Marlins win the game They survive a ninth inning Mets rally, and Miami wins for just the